Baldur's Gate 3 and now a Dark Alliance announcement? What is happening? If you guys watched the Game Awards the other night, you will know we did not get any new information on Baldur's Gate 3. But we did get information on a brand new upcoming game called Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Throughout this video, I will show footage from the new trailer, and I'll also show gameplay footage of the old Dark Alliance games. We do not have any gameplay footage of the new one yet. Anyone who played video games in the late 90s and early 2000s, you might be familiar with the Baldur's Gate games as well as the Dark Alliance games. Now, hardcore fans of Baldur's Gate might get angry when you fail to know the difference between the two game series, which can be easy to do considering on a game title basis, both of the game series have Baldur's Gate in their title. Let's clear that up quickly so you can understand what game we are talking about in this video. Baldur's Gate 1 came out in 1998 and Baldur's Gate 2 came out in 2000. Now, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance came out in 2001 and Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2 came out in 2004. They are definitely different games and not continuations of each other. Now, the game that was announced at the Game Awards last night was a spiritual successor of the Dark Alliance games, not the Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Although both game series are set in the world of Forgotten Realms in Baldur's Gate, they are different games. Baldur's Gate games tend to be much more complex than Dark Alliance, and I'm assuming Baldur's Gate 3, which is coming out hopefully in 2020, will be the same. They focus heavily on the actual Dungeons & Dragons rule sets. The Dark Alliance games will be more pickup friendly and hack and slash type of games. I enjoy both of these game series, so I'm pretty excited to be getting both of them again. It's kind of funny that both of these games are being resurrected in the same year. Let the nostalgia begin for us old folks. This video will be focused on the upcoming Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance game. So yes, I think that this game will be more of a pick-up friendly fun game like the Dark Alliances in the past versus Baldur's Gate 3, which will probably be more complex and serious. So what do we know about this new Dark Alliance game? Well, from a lore standpoint, it will not take place in Baldur's Gate like the Dark Alliances in the past, but instead will take place in the cold tundra of Icewind Dale. Dark Alliance will be a 4-player co-op game, and they did say that it is couch co-op friendly, but we do not know if you'll be able to play in the offline mode. It is being made by Took Games, a Canadian-based gaming company who made a game called Livelock. I don't know much about that. And Dark Alliance will be being published by an American game publishing company called Wizards of the Coast, who published Magic the Gathering card game as well as acquired the popular Dungeons & Dragons role-playing games. So I can't say much about Took Games, but their publisher Wizards of the Coast are very experienced and successful, so it's good to have them as this game's publisher. Dark Alliance release date is slotted for a fall 2020 time, right around when the new consoles will release. We are told it will be for PC and console, which is great. I love it when games get a release on all platforms so everyone can enjoy the game and talk about it. I'm assuming it will release on the current consoles as well, but you will also have the option to buy it on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Dark Alliance will be a third-person action RPG. Third person. The old Dark Alliances were always the isometric view, but now we are getting a third person, more ground-like view. This is very exciting. This will also help differentiate itself from Baldur's Gate 3 very much, and I already have a line of isometric games that I'm excited to play, from Baldur's Gate 3 to Diablo 4 and Weird West, so it's nice that this Dark Alliance will give us a third person view. One of the higher ups at Took Games said that they are doing the third person view to really help you get yourself into the action. That's cool, man. I cannot wait to go crazy with 3 friends at my side. Now, if you are familiar with the Legend of Drizzt books, or maybe any of the other Forgotten Realms Dungeons & Dragons types books, you're probably familiar with the Dark Elf Drizzt Do'Urden with his dual scimitars. Well, guess what? He will be the star of this game, alongside his trusted companions, Bruenor the Dwarf, Catti-brie the Human Archer, and Wulfgar the Barbarian. And you guessed it, you will be playing as one of these 4 heroes. Anyone who does know these characters, you gotta be excited to play them. They are some of the most badass heroes you will ever read about, and I'm sure they will be just as badass in the game. If you do enjoy reading fantasy books, start with the Legend of Drizzt series books 1 through 3, where you learn about Drizzt and where he came from. There are like 30 plus books in this series, and they keep coming out, so you will have plenty to read. I've read over 20 of them, and I think I'm going to have to go back to them now. Alright, back to the game. So we are also told that this game will have a heavy emphasis on action, which I will further elaborate on soon, along with character progression and loot systems. I love hearing this because it is fun to just play games where you hack through it to the end, but I enjoy games even more where you can actually progress your character. So I'm guessing you will kind of level your character to some point and receive new items as the game goes on, but I don't think it will be as heavily loot based as say Diablo or Baldur's Gate is, because you are playing a fictional character. You cannot create your own, so I doubt they would go too in depth with the loot system in terms of armor and weapons. These fictional characters have big histories, so I doubt you'll be able to like grab a hammer and use it with the Dark Elf Drist, who is famously known for using his dual scimitars. In the trailer that we see, it is action-packed, and the companions are fighting against hordes of goblins and giants, and from what I've heard, we will also fight against some really iconic D&D monsters. We do know that this game will be a completely new story for the heroes though. It will not follow the books. Jeff Haddam, the founder of Toot Games, said that this will be a big game. That's always good to hear. He also said that he wants the focus of the game to be on players' execution of their customized movesets rather than slowly building up stats over a months-long campaign. That further confirms that it will probably not be extremely complex with millions of stats, etc. More so, you have to practice executing your character's unique abilities in the right fashion. Another thing that Jeff said is we are focused more on the moment-to-moment gameplay, and we want to ask players to be more deliberate with the combat. Then he said he wants to put the action back in action RPGs, meaning more of a focus on the combat versus the role-playing elements like stats, gear, and loot. But they did say earlier that there will be loot as well as character progression, so it's not going to be completely out of the RPG elements. We do know that each of the characters can be built in a different way. That's pretty cool, and it will definitely help with the game's longevity. And we also know that there will be dozens and dozens of moves per character that you can unlock. I like it. It sounds a lot like they are taking a little away from the RPG elements of the game, but adding what they took away into the action combat side of the game. We have plenty of RPG-focused games coming out. I'm really excited to hear that this will be particularly more focused on the action, but still have some RPG in it as well. Alright, that's it for the new Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance game coming out in fall 2020. Now, this Dark Alliance game does not have Baldur's Gate in the name at all, so maybe it'll be a lot easier to distinguish itself from Baldur's Gate 3. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I do all sorts of videos on this channel, comedy videos, game reviews, tutorials, live streams, etc. It'd be great to see you guys again in the future. Stay up to date with your latest gaming videos, guys, and I will see you on the next one.